Hello and welcome back to the Blackstones. We have returned for this Blades in the Dark campaign. And I will briefly go around the table, starting on my left with Filip. Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the basics of your character. Go, Filip.
I'm Filip. I am playing Paul Blackstone, the Akorosi Leech.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm playing Alex O'Reilly, the Akorosan Spider.
Mm-hmm. And across the table, Lukas.
Hi, I'm Lukas. I'm playing Demon Blackstone, and I'm the Skovlan Cutter.
I'm Max. I'm playing Flint Blackstone, the Akorosi Hound.
I'm John. I am playing Kobb, such as the Corn Blackstone, the Akorosi Lurk.
And you may notice that we are missing James. So good luck with all of your social interactions, everybody.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. He's a, what was he, a slide?
He was a slide.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, we found him behind.
But that's
upstairs.
okay. That's, you know what? One of the things that I enjoyed when I was kind of learning about this game was that it can make it interesting when you don't have the whole party there, because then things go in a different direction or you have to try different strategies. So,
for example, if we don't have a, what is it, whisperer?
Yeah.
We can't deal with ghosts, it turns out.
Well, yeah, and you did come up with a creative solution for that, mainly involving Max's ghost bullets, because that did indeed help you out when it came to dealing with the zombie canal rats in the last episode.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah. So it's been a minute, but you guys were able to conduct downtime at the end of last session, yeah? You guys have returned to your hideout above Gary's Deli. And things have been a little bit quiet for the next week or so while you guys were kind of indulging in your vices. Briefly, I know we kind of went over this towards the tail end of the last episode, but briefly tell us about where and how you indulge your vices. So Filip, we'll start with you again.
My vice is an obligation, which is running a music store.
Okay, so I want to explore that a little bit more. Who owns the music store, and why do you have an obligation to work there?
Gary's music store.
Is it?
It's also Gary's. He's franchising.
I mean, it could be, but
He's gonna have a monopoly.
is it a relative? Is it a friend? And why do you feel an obligation to help out there?
I would say that it's a relative, and I guess in my past I was in the military, but I could say I was also in the military band. So I feel like continuing on that legacy.
Okay, we might explore that in more detail as we go on. All right, Shannon, what is Alex's vice, and where and how do you indulge in it?
Likes to take a few drinks, spend some time out in a very nice chill area. So last time, Alex went to the Jade Dragon, which is run by the Wands, which we helped last session.
Yes.
So I figured it was only right. And I brought someone with me that had a gambling addiction.
No, me.
Yep. And I was able to use my ability to make sure we didn't overindulge our stress.
Well done, well done. All right, Lukas.
So Demon, he has an obligation to the Skovlan people, and he does whatever he can to further their cause in any way, or just learn about his culture. And last session, after the heist, he went to a library wearing this suit he got from the store that we robbed.
Yes.
And I was kicked out promptly because they were like, "You're national for the Skovlans, get out. If we see you again, we'll call the police."
Indeed. Max.
My guy has a gambling addiction, so he just goes around to different gambling dens and kind of just spends money.
Okay.
You don't have any money.
My vice is pleasure, and I do that through opium. I go to a great place called the Cavern, where I take various forms. Smoking, injecting, I don't know if that's been invented yet.
Do you have a contact related to that?
I do not.
So, as you are finishing up your opium-induced multiple days of stupor, you are approached as you're kind of coming out of it towards the tail end of this indulgence in your vice. You're approached by an Akorosi man, and he leans in towards you and he says, "Hey, I've heard that you might know some people who know how to make things rough."
I may know a few guys, depending on the job.
He says, my name's Joseph, and I might have a proposition for you and your crew. He says, would you be available to maybe you and your crew meet me and a few of my associates in Night Market?
Just let me know where.
There's a place called Rosie's Tattoo Parlor. When you arrive, just tell Rosie that you're there to see Joseph, and she'll let you into the back room.
I'll let him know.
He walks out. So, the rest of you guys have all returned to Gary's Deli. You're hanging out in your hideout, and Kobb comes in. He looks like either he's slept for 3 days or hasn't slept for 3 days, but the look is about the same.
It's about normal.
So this guy said we should go to Rosie's tattoo parlor, right? Tattoo? Yeah. He said he might have a job for us. And we need to say that Joseph sent us.
What type of job?
He didn't elaborate.
It was Joe. Sorry.
Well,
What time do we have to be there?
He just said meet us there.
Okay, how do we know this ain't a trap? Because we've certainly made a name slightly for ourselves through many different ways.
We kind of don't, so maybe a couple of us go in, the rest of us kind of hang around in case something goes wrong.
But then you risk the people who go in like getting trapped.
But then it's better than all of us being
they can't trap me.
That is true.
Send him in alone. No, I can go in with him, see what's up.
I'll do the talking.
I'll go in since
Of course,
I'm the one who's supposed
The
to be
rest of
with
us
me.
just like wait outside then.
Three of you two wait outside. I'll go with them since
Sure.
he's the one who approached me.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
All right.
Okay. So fast forward a little bit later that afternoon. You guys head over to Night Market. You make your way through the streets, and you come to this pretty small-looking tattoo parlor. Doesn't really stand out very much. In fact, even the painting of Rosie's tattoo parlor on the outside, on the wooden sign, is like kind of faded. And at first, you're not even sure if the place is open because it doesn't look like there's any lights on inside. But then you see kind of a flickering of a lamp. You go into the front door, and it's literally just like a 12 by 12 little front room, and you see kind of like one chair. You see some shelving with different kinds of inks and some tattooing guns or needles and stuff like that, and you see a door just beyond that. You see a middle-aged woman, Akorosi woman, with kind of gray hair, and she's a sturdy gal. And she has tattoos all over her arms and her neck and stuff. And she kind of looks up and she goes, "What do you want?"
We're here to see Joseph.
And then she looks at you guys again. She says, she just points to the door leading to the back.
Do you two want to stay here in the front? We'll go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I'll get a tattoo while I'm there too.
Just a smiley face on your neck.
Okay. So you guys,
Me.
and Demon and Alex go to the back.
Yeah.
Okay. You open the door and you see a short kind of hallway, and it almost looks like a supply closet. There's like shelves with more kind of tattooing stuff, and there's some ledger books and cleaning supplies and that sort of thing. And then there's another doorway at the end of this kind of closet. That door, however, is open, and you see like flickering of light from the inside. You guys kind of move through, and as you walk into this room, you see a back room that's about the same size. It's not very big. But you see like a small round table with 4 chairs around it. And you see Joseph, the guy who you had met, sitting at the table. He looks a little bit more cleaned up. He's kind of wearing like a little more of like the upper class Akorosi style, with like large cuffs and a big tie. And he has 3 associates behind him. There's a red-haired woman who looks very athletic, like She's basically just wearing like a leather vest, and her like musculature in her arms is pretty tight. And then there's two other guys who are wearing kind of like long, like knee-length jackets that kind of match with dark suits. Joseph looks at you and he says, "Is this it? Just you three?
Yeah.
Come on in." He says, "Have a seat. I'm Joseph."
Nice to meet you, Joseph.
Nice to meet you.
You notice that Joseph kind of like looks at all of you guys as you're pulling up a chair to sit down. The red-haired woman is looking at you, Demon, like the way that bluecoats look at people, like studying you, like sizing you up. And she's about 5'6", and maybe 130 pounds of muscle. Athletic, but nowhere near your size. But she's kind of looking at you as if she's thinking, like, could I beat him up? Like that kind of vibe. Joseph, however, seems amicable, and he says, "So the reason why I was interested in speaking with you is that we've heard some good things about your crew. Good things from some other crews. And we thought that you might have the right chemistry to help us out."
What's the job?
He says, "Well, before I tell you about the job, let me just ask you, because you know how sometimes people, they talk about things and they're telling the truth, but sometimes there's a little bit of rumors and some exaggerations, that sort of thing." He says, "Is it true that you and your crew were able to take out more than double your numbers in some skirmishes against the Washbucklers?"
Oh, very easily.
Yeah. We're quite capable in combat.
It's like stealing candy from a baby from the Washbucklers.
And then
They're not necessarily a threat.
candy from a baby, he proceeds to kill that baby. Just
No, I only maim it.
He says, "Well, listen, we are in the business of making money. Coin is our primary focus. To that end, we have been involved in an upcoming event that's going to take place 2 nights from now. This event is, let's try to say, the people who know about it, and the people we don't want to know about it don't know about it. Specifically, we don't really want any blue coat involvement. But it is an entertainment event. We are promoting this event in the hopes that if it's financially successful, we can make more money from it. And we've come up short with security for this event. What we need is a crew of people, not just with brawn, no offense, but with brains. The kind of people who could spot potential threats or interruptions to this event and quickly dampen those things. We don't want anybody killed. We don't need any bells tolling, and we definitely don't want spirit wardens or bluecoats coming. But we need to be able to know that if there are any potential disruptions, that they would be quickly identified and dealt with." Does that sound like something that you'd like to hear more about?
certainly does.
Yes.
Yes.
I think before we go forward on details, we should talk about payment.
Absolutely. The event we're promoting is a fight. There's going to be a lot of betting on this fight. The clientele is what makes it truly interesting. It's exclusive in the sense that it's by invitation only, and we have taken steps to only invite people of means and people who will be spending a significant amount of money. Now, some of these exclusive guests have beefs with each other. We have asked all of the attendees to lay aside any potential issues that they may have for the benefit of this event taking place. We have paid off a number of important different groups to make sure that there wouldn't be any major disruptions. So the kind of security we're looking at is not so much from any other crew or any other faction, but more specifically from individuals who have maybe personal things at stake. He says, and you notice he pauses for a moment, then he kind of looks over at Demon and he says, I understand that you and your crew may have come across Ulf once or twice in the past.
Is he going to be one of the people fighting?
He nods.
Good.
He is. And more importantly, the person he's fighting has a lot of potential. The person he's fighting is an Arumian championship fighter who's been brought all the way here to Duskfall for this specific event. It's going to be the title match. Now for the event, we're going to have a couple preliminary bouts with some, just for entertainment value and to get the ball rolling. There's going to be, lots of drinks flowing and so forth. But where we're really concerned about is at that main event, if there's anyone who maybe has a personal issue with Ulf or with the Arumian champion, Pashtar, then that's where we need you to step in. So, my proposal, with your full crew, I'm assuming, yes?
Yeah.
We're looking for at least 5. If you have 8 people, that would be excellent, but 5 would be the bare minimum that we need to pull this off to secure the event. Looking at paying you each 3 coin.
Seems like a fair deal.
Yes.
Now, to be clear, as I said, if in your capacity in security a death occurs, this agreement will be null and void, as you will have failed to fulfill the essential tenet of the security we have asked you to perform.
Understood.
I'm only saying that because you guys have developed a reputation for being brutal at times.
I can assure you,
understand.
during the entire skirmish with the Washbucklers, not a single bell was tolled.
That's good. You guys came recommended. So,
I do have a few questions about the location before we leave here.
certainly.
Is this in a building or is this an open arena outside?
He says it's between buildings.
So in a sort of alleyway or an open courtyard?
It is more like an open courtyard. I'm going to provide you with the information about specifically where it is. I do want you to actually go scope it out prior to the event.
Okay.
We have vendors that are setting up for the event. As I said, it's going to happen 2 nights from now. So there will be people there setting up the ring for the fights, as well as setting up the risers, the seating, the bar, and the bar equipment. We will have appropriate amounts of lighting so that everybody has a nice show. But I absolutely will give you the information for where to go and how to find the location, so that you can best determine where you want to position yourselves. Do know that there will only be one entrance in and out of this space. The courtyard can only be accessed by going down an alley between 2 large buildings.
Are you sure that's the only one?
I'm certain. We chose this location specifically for that.
Are people going to be able to get on top of the 2 buildings?
I suppose they could, which is a you problem and not a me problem. But with that said, sounds like you're already thinking about how to do this, so we have an accord?
Question.
Yes.
How can we be sure that the new Bluco magistrate hasn't been invited into this crowd?
He says, I'm successful in my business ventures precisely because I anticipate these kinds of problems. Might there be Imperial spies? Absolutely. Might there also be blue coat infiltrators? This could also be. It sounds like you're also keenly aware of some of the recent changes in the blue coat hierarchy. And so you've already identified some of the other potential threats that you all will need to consider. He said, now, after the fight, everyone should lay low. Meet back here the night after the fight, and that is where I will have your payment ready to go.
Okay. Just another quick question from me. Do you have any issues with the Lampblacks?
No.
Because we might be getting at least three of their men to help us. At least that's my plan.
As long as you provide the services that we've agreed to, I have no problem with that.
I'm willing to.
I will say that the Wongs will not be able to provide you with any muscle on account of the fact that it is their champion, Pashtar, who will be fighting against Ulf.
That's who we saw before.
So, gentlemen, our business is concluded. I'll see you in 2 nights' time.
Yes.
Understood.
He nods.
Have a nice night.
As you guys are turning to leave, you hear the 2 guys in the black, like, long coats. They, like, lean forward and they're whispering something to Joseph. You just hear, like,
Suspicious, but okay.
Okay. So the 3 of you walk out, smash cut, rewind. You 2 are hanging out with Rosie, the tattooist. And she's just looking at you. And then she goes back to like smoking her pipe. She's like, what are you guys, the doormen?
Basically.
Yeah. She smokes her pipe.
Weren't you going to get a tattoo?
Yeah, smiley face on your forehead.
You do see many books of sample tattoo work.
I guess I'll go check one out then.
Okay.
See what's available.
You see like quite a variety. You know, some of them look like super basic, but some of them look like a little more complex. If you were going to rate Rosie's tattoo work on a scale of 1 to 4, you'd probably give her like a 2 stars. You know, like fine for something that you want, you know, for a simple thing, but not the most complex weave of artistry that you've ever seen. Okay.
I'll keep looking.
Back to Gary's Deli. You guys are looking at this scroll. I'm sorry, he handed you a scroll. I forgot to mention that. When you get back to your hideout, you're unrolling this scroll. There's a crude map of a location that's kind of on the northern side of Night Market, which you guys have not done a lot of business in. And it's not, it looks like it's kind of as close to the canal without being right on the canal as possible. So maybe like a half block in from the canal on the north side of Night Market. And you see that he's outlined these 2 buildings where there's an alleyway that goes into a space that then opens up into a large courtyard. Like 200 feet across by 200 feet deep. It's a pretty, you know, sizable space.
Okay.
On this map, he also shows like the doors in and out of the warehouses that are adjacent to this space, but you don't see any doors that lead directly into the courtyard. So it looks like there's like open sides that face the docks, and then there's open sides that face the street, but nothing that goes into the alleyway or into the courtyard. He is also marked off on this crude map, like in the center of the courtyard, where the fight ring will be set up, and like where there's going to be risers with chairs so that they can seat people, and also standing room and like a bar and like a whole area. No other security measures are detailed on this map. That's basically up to you guys. So he provides this map for you.
First thing, I think we should take some gold out of our savings and give it to you, Alex. In case any blue coats come, we can try bribing them to go away.
Okay. So, just real quick thing. You probably might know this. You have a sniper, right?
I do.
I want you on a building,
Okay.
just in case.
But we don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want deaths too, so we have to be careful about
We
that.
don't. I'm not intending for you to shoot. I'm intending for you to scope.
Okay, that's fine.
If it gets to it, then try and at least maim them instead of killing them outright.
Got it.
But if I want at least one person on each rooftop, since there's going to be 2 rooftops, and then the rest of us can be down. I'm hoping I can do 2 things before this gets there. I have a pretty good relationship with an architect that I can go to sort of get a better sort of blueprints for the area we're at, so we can find if there are actually secret entrances that he doesn't know about, or if there's other sorts of entry that we can put people to guard. And then I want Demon to come with me, scope out some lamp blacks, some like at least 3 lamp black mercenaries, and pay them off to assist us in this security mission. Now, do know I am willing to take 2 coin out from the pay, or like one. I have 1 coin right now. I'm willing to take 2 coins out after we get paid to give them to at least 2 of the lamp black personnel that we acquire.
I think if we have 3, then they're also going to get paid the 3 coins.
He didn't say anything about that. I just want to be prepared.
I do think for day of event we should have Demon on the front gate where everyone's walking in, so we could just analyze the people walking through, see if anyone looks suspicious or is trying to hide themselves. Because he's physically bigger, so he'll be able to see over people.
Yes, but I'll need someone else that can actually do the talking.
Yeah, like we could have a couple people actually in the crowd walking around just scoping out for people. If Demon sees anything, he'll let one of us know, and we can try and intercept them before they do anything bad.
Okay. If it comes down to it, we can have the 3 lamp black mercenaries that we hire to go around the crowd or stay with Demon at the front. Then we can do whatever we want. That's kind of why I want these mercenaries. Because if we have 3 people that are just kind of scoping the area, making sure there's no trouble, then that means we can do a lot more things. Like, for example, be on the rooftops, making sure nobody's on top.
Right. Okay.
What if we what if we get Filip to set up a kind of sound system with bells
A bomb.
that are in the surrounding rooftops, perhaps?
See, what I want are walkie-talkies, but I'm not sure if they exist.
No,
So,
not even close.
Ghost talkies.
sending stones. Wait, oops.
Smoke
wrong game.
signals. Smoke signals.
Okay, anyways. So yeah, that's my plan. See an architect and then hire 3 mercenaries. What do you guys have for a plan?
Well,
John,
I can't do much.
Kind of gave my idea of having him at the front, people walking around.
Yeah.
Okay.
I suppose I'll just be the one at the front door with the 3 lamp blacks. Everyone else will be either on the roof or observing the crowd before bad things happen to the fighters.
Okay. Sounds like we have a pretty good plan of what we're doing.
Let's study the place, or you can get an architect to see if there's any hidden places, and then, we can go off from there.
Okay.
I'm drawing you a crude sketch.
Okay.
There it is, right there. See it? It's magnificent.
Wow. Amazing.
This is the alley. It goes up into the courtyard. This is the fighting pit ring thing. It's not a square, it's a circle, because martial arts. MMA.
Of course.
So there you go. So you can assume that there's rooftops all around that courtyard. And in fact, you guys can scope this out. So But in the spirit of Blades in the Dark, to not get too complicated, we're going to say it's time for the engagement roll. So your operation does have a plan that you've articulated, where you want to have at least one of your people on the rooftop, you want to have several of you kind of moving through the crowd, and you want to have some hirelings at the front of the alley and
At
kind
least
of in
like
between.
2 with Demon at the front, and then 1 either on another rooftop with him, or roaming the crowd with us.
Okay. That sounds good to me.
So let's just get this out of the way now. The 1 leftover Lampblack mercenary,
I believe-
do we want him on a rooftop or on the ground? Rooftop?
Yeah,
I don't
it's
trust
a
them
rooftop.
to be like observant.
Okay, rooftop. So you're on rooftop. I want you on the highest rooftop, if there is a highest, and then he can be on the second highest
I'll
or
just
lowest.
go to like whatever point gives me like the most like sight
Okay.
like over the arena.
Based on this, I have determined your position. Fast forward, smash cut, it's the night of the fight. So you have people from all walks of life dressed in whatever their best finery is. You clearly see like people from a bunch of different kind of gangs and crews showing up in their best outfits. You see nobles who clearly don't belong in this kind of hood, but they're coming to this anyway. Your security personnel are kind of keeping tabs on people in the entrance and through the alley and as they come into the courtyard. And you guys also see, like in the first bout that they have, like it's kind of more of a straight up boxing match, that like only half of the courtyard is full of attendees. Some people are like mingling and socializing and having drinks. Some people are in their seats and watching the bout. So it's kind of like it starts off a little bit slow because it's the opening act basically, and then the first bout finishes. There's some downtime. There's like a riser with a band playing like live music, and little brass and drums and strings and things kind of going on. And as you guys are kind of mingling around, the second bout begins. During the second bout, one of your advisors, one of your hirelings, lets you know that there's a couple strange-looking Arumian gentlemen who look very patriotic, and they kind of point them out to you guys. And you see 2 tall, well-built men who look like they're in their late 30s or early 40s. And they are wearing cleaner and nicer versions of the military jackets that your friend Demon found. And these have the original patches on them. Like, they're basically wearing like Skovlan army uniforms. And you notice that they have kind of come in and they sort of like grabbed drinks and they were standing in the corner kind of talking with each other. So one of your hirelings points this out to you.
Okay. Real quick shift. I'm going to focus on the Arumians. If we can have the hireling let us know, stand at the door with the other 2 to make it so there's 3 people at the door. I want Demon monitoring the Skovlans.
Okay.
Since
you guys,
he can understand what they're saying. If
you're
they're
going to
speaking
split
as
up. So you're going to kind of stay over by the Arumians. You're going to stay over by the Skovlans. You're on the roof.
I'm on the roof.
So 3 hirelings are...
Make a survey roll, Max.
Push yourself, please.
Roll.
2 force.
Okay.
Okay.
Goodness.
You're up there, and frankly, you're bored. Like, you've been up there for at least an hour and a half. There's no one on any roofs. There's, you're kind of doing the sight line along the roofs. Do you have any equipment that allows you to see in darkness?
No, I have a spyglass. That's about it.
Okay, so occasionally you bring your spyglass out, like, and then you kind of like look,
Oh, you do though, right?
I did. I brought the dark side mask
You are where?
on the ground.
you're not wearing a dark side mask on
No,
the
I
ground
just
walking
have
around
it
people?
in
Okay.
case.
So
In case
are you
anything
kind
goes-
of mixing and mingling through the crowd?
Yeah.
Okay. And you are also working the crowd?
Yeah.
So
crowd.
ground level by the Arumians, ground level by the Skovlans, roof level. As you are kind of doing your sweep and the night's going on, in the middle of the second bout, the second opening bout, you see a figure across from you. And that figure stands up and moves down the roof line and then moves and sits down. And it's one of the 3 extra guys that you hired and told to be on the roof opposite of him.
Okay.
But it looks like he's moved and changed positions.
That's.
And then you
Alright.
see him doing this, like he's trying to get your attention.
Okay.
Is he like pointing somewhere?
Yes, he's pointing down into the crowd.
Can I like, can I use survey again to try to like get a direction where he's pointing?
No need to roll. You see that he's pointing to a big part of the crowd where it looks just kind of like a large gathering of like Akorosi upper class and nobility.
Okay.
Okay, so far.
You're by the Arumian. So there's like 2 distinct corners. One where like Ulf and his group of people are, and they have like tents set up inside of the courtyard. And then the Arumians have a tent. You're kind of standing near the Arumian tent, but not in it, because there are members of the Wongs who are at that tent, like
Yeah.
the door to that tent, and you assume that their champion Pashtar is in the tent.
This might just be biased, but I think the Wongs wouldn't do anything. I think they're fine. But the Skovlans are the ones that I'm worried about.
Which is not where you are. Smash cut over to you, Demon. You see these 2 Skovlan like veterans who are, like they're like clean cut, like wearing the uniforms, still in good shape, and they're kind of standing off on their own, not by Ulf's tent, just kind of off on their own.
Do I see them they're just standing there by themselves away from the Skovlan crowds, just talking amongst themselves or just staring?
Why don't you make a survey roll?
Don't have any survey. Let's roll 2.
Push yourself, maybe?
1.
Never mind.
You just see them, they're like, they're not even talking with each other, they're like drink. And they're just like looking around. They don't really say anything to each other.
Okay.
They're not even looking in the direction of Ulf's tent.
I'll approach them.
Okay.
Gentlemen, how is your night going?
Are you wearing...
Yeah, the rugged version of what they're wearing. That's missing the patches.
So one of them looks at the other, just like they're like this with their drinks. They're like, evening is fine.
What is making you look so somber, you 2? There's festivities. Hang out with the Ulf gang.
The Ulf.
The Ulf.
In Skovlan, the one of them says, young boy, we were defending our homeland when you were but a baby.
And when I grew up, I also helped.
The one of them looks to the other one again, and then he looks back at you and he says, you are here to lay wages?
I'm here to make sure that the fight goes on without any interruption from either side. Without any interference, whether it be Skovlan, Akorosi, or Arumian.
Then I'm sure the night will go well.
No trouble, you 2.
The other one who hasn't spoken yet looks at you for a moment, and then he looks at the other one and leans in and like kind of covers his mouth and says like whispers something. And the one who spoke says, you have laid the wager for the main event?
No, I am but too poor to lay a wager.
He says,
as you can see from my suit.
it is probably for the best. It is very uncertain who will win this combat.
It is. Ulf was a great veteran, but the Wongs and their champion also looks like to be a great warrior that may cause Ulf some trouble.
We shall see.
That we will.
They kind of like turn, and have a sip of their drinks. Filip, are you doing anything specific as you're kind of wandering through the crowd?
Nope, just looking around. I'm gonna actually start heading to the bar that's there, and I get a drink.
Okay, there are like 2 different bar areas. So there's one like closer to where the live band is playing music, and then there's another one like on the closest to the alley entrance side.
I think the answer is clear. I'm gonna go to the music side.
Okay. So the band actually, it's funny because you go to that bar, the band is taking a break because there's a fight going on.
Never mind.
So like they're all getting drinks, and they're all kind of having drinks and hanging out by the front of the little stage where the band is playing or where they play, but they're all kind of having drinks. So you stop over by the bar, get a drink.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the bartender, wherever he is, and ask him for the second strongest thing that he's got.
Damn it.
He says, well, we have Arumian spiced wine.
I think that'll do nicely.
Very strong.
I think that'll do nicely.
So he pours you this like little teacup, and you're like, huh? Like, and he's like, it's very strong.
I'll sniff it. Do I sniff anything weird?
Your nose burns.
Oh, perfect. All right, and then I just down the hatch.
Okay. It burns as it goes down your esophagus. Like it's a super strong, concentrated form of alcohol, and it's spicy indeed. It lives up to its name.
Wow.
As you're having that drink, you see a red-haired woman wearing like a leather vest. She seems very athletic, muscular build. She kind of comes up to the bar and she says something in Skovlan. And then the man brings her a large bottle, like a big 22-ounce size kind of bottle with a cork. And she throws a coin and pops the cork off and takes like 4 big gulps and then sets it down at the bar. She just kind of looks at you. And she says, shouldn't you be working?
That would be correct. Just walk away.
She continues to drink at the bar.
Shouldn't she be working?
Smash cut over to you, John. You're just walking through the crowd yourself. Make a survey roll.
I have 1 in survey.
Oh.
I'm gonna push myself and get a second one.
Good.
Okay. Concentrating on the crowds and the event and what's going on around you.
4.
You look around the space and you begin to kind of identify there's a bit of like mingling between different unlikely groups going on, but for the most part there's people sitting in their seats watching the bout. There's some people kind of standing in the open space kind of having drinks. You notice one kind of unlikely looking pairing. You see someone who looks like maybe they're not upper class nobility kind of person, based on kind of how they're dressed. The man that you see has kind of like long sort of shaggy hair, not like styled very well at all. And he's wearing like a top hat, which is sort of out of style amongst the nobility. And he has like a tuxedo jacket on, but the sleeves are cut off. And he has like a ruffled white shirt with like a big kind of vibrant purple tie that doesn't match his like green jacket. He's wearing kind of like an emerald green suit, and this
The Joker?
it doesn't really match. And he looks like he's Akorosi, but you notice that he's kind of like wearing this sort of almost flamboyant sort of appearance, and he's talking to a group of other Akorosi who are like definitely upper class, like distinguished looking nobles, you know, with like the waxed tipped mustaches and like finely combed hair and immaculate suits. And the Akorosi nobles also have like security guards, so it doesn't look like he's bothering them, but he seems to be like explaining something to him, and he's gesturing a lot and like laughing, and they're like listening to him. You kind of see that from like 25 feet away.
I'd like to make a prowl roll to see if I can get just a little bit closer to him and try and overhear what they're saying.
Feel free. Good use of the prowl.
Am I sneaking?
4.
Nice.
Again.
You kind of like work your way through the crowd, trying to be inconspicuous, and you get a little bit closer, and you hear the voice saying like, "It would be magnificent if you could see your way to investing in such an opportunity. It's a rare thing indeed, but my sources tell me that it could be easily acquired, and there's not any problems or concerns about the discovery of such a thing." And you hear like one of the Akorosi noble gentlemen saying like, I see. Well, we shall have to speak of this perhaps in a less public event. Yes. That's like kind of all you overhear.
So it's just fundraising. Don't worry about
Yeah. Investing this man's pyramid scheme.
it. Do not pay attention.
Back to the roof. You're looking down, and the guy across the roof is like waving and pointing down at the same group of like mixed people, of like nobles and some commoners and stuff, just people basically in a crowd having drinks who are socializing and not really watching the bout.
Can I use the spyglass to see anything suspicious, like on any of them, like concealed weapons?
You look down and you don't see anything. And then you see the guy like across from you, like clearly looks exasperated, and he's like, and he like gets up from his position and he starts going around to like the cross building, so what would be the back end of the courtyard, and you see he like takes a few steps back and does like a running jump to get to the other roof.
Only the
Oh my
lamp.
God.
He falls to his death.
He slips,
Please don't
but
die.
you see him holding on to the gables, and he pulls himself up onto the roof.
All right, I'm gonna like kind of try to meet him halfway. At
Okay.
least.
Don't just go to the edge of the roof so you can speak that
Yeah.
way.
Well, so you could try to hop over.
Which would give up your position
It would.
as a
Hey,
highest.
you know what? Shh, you're not there. What are you going to do? If you want to meet him halfway, you could just make a roll.
That's a finesse roll, right?
Sure.
Which I have none in. All right, you know what? I'm gonna push myself. I'll try.
Okay.
I'll try.
Should have set up bridges before.
Have build bridges at the 3.
Jesus.
Do you want to use a flashback?
Sure.
For what? Climbing? Use my pocket.
Oh wait, no.
wrench.
I do have climbing gear.
Oh, you do.
I brought
So
it
there
with
you
me.
go. You toss this, you secure yourself, you make your jump, you like, and you pull yourself up.
All right.
You make it across to the other roof, and he's going to meet you halfway, and he gets over to you and he says, "Do you see who I was pointing to down there?"
The group of Arumians?
He says, "No, mixed," and he's like, he turns and he's pointing down towards the nobles that he was pointing at, and he says, "Do you know who that is?"
No.
He said, "The gentleman with the black hair and the pointed beard." He goes, "I'm pretty sure that that's the Emperor's son."
Ooh.
I mean,
Okay.
what can we do about that? It's royalty.
He says, "Have you ever seen those paintings of the royal family?" He's like, "I'm pretty sure that's the Emperor's son."
Okay.
He's like, "Why would he be here?"
I mean, it's a high class fight, like rich clientele. But
He's you could tell he's like nervous. He's like, "Do you think there's like Imperials here too? Guards?"
Who knows? Shoot.
He says, all right, well, yes, I guess I'll go back to my side.
Okay.
He goes back to his side.
Just use the stairs.
He's fine. He makes it.
Okay.
So you go back to your side?
Yeah, and just a question, how far up are we from, like, the floor view?
It's tall.
Okay.
Like, this is a 3-story warehouse on each side. So, like, the first, and warehouse ceilings are like 15 feet each. So I'm going to say you're about 60 feet in the air.
Fun. All
Yeah,
right.
make sure you don't fall.
Good advice.
Just don't fall.
Smash cut back to the ground level, people. So you see / hear nothing. No one goes in or out of the Wong's tent. There's 2 guards on the outside. They're both like clearly members of the Wongs. Like,
Tattoos
even though
and
they're
everything.
wearing suits, you see like tattoos coming out of their wrist and hands.
Okay.
No one goes in or out.
Did the nationalists go inside the tent?
I'm gonna say from where you are, you can't really see that corner.
Okay.
Unless you like want to move and try to study or survey it.
That would result in a horrible mistake, so I'm gonna not. For me, I guess I'm just gonna go back to looking for suspicious persons in the crowd, I guess, or people that looks like they might be up to no good, I guess.
Okay.
It's a very vague term, but trying to do a security job here, so.
Okay. Demon, you're kind of making your way around your area. You see Ulf's tent doesn't have like a security detail. Like, there's just flaps that that go into the tent. There's no security people outside of it.
I'll just do a checkup just in case there's anything going on that needs to be solved, like a murder.
Okay, so as you're walking towards Ulf's tent, you see the red-haired woman, and she's walking in the same direction, like towards Ulf's tent, but kind of over from by the bar. And you notice that she now has 4 bottles of Skovlan ale with corks on them. And she's walking up, and she says, "Hey, are you going to Ulf's tent?"
Yes, I'm going to check just in case nothing's going on.
Good. Then you take these to him. She gives you the bottles, and you're like, ugh. They're big 22-ounce like bottles, and they're actually cold. And she says, "Then you give them to him. I am tired of being treated like some waitress." And she turns and walks away.
You're too good for that.
So you go over to the tent. Filip, I'll say that you actually saw her after she finished her own beer. Like, you kind of walked over by the stage where the musicians were. After she finished her own beer, like, you saw her, like, you couldn't hear her because you're like 20 feet away, but you saw her go like, and like the bartender nodded and reached down and pulled out like 4 bottles, and then you saw her walk over towards Ulf direction. So you are gonna walk into Ulf's tent? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you kind of like elbow the tent open, and you see Ulf inside the tent. He is kind of wearing like loose fighting apparel, like basically like shorts, and soft-soled shoes, and he's wrapping his wrists and his hands, and like kind of like firming up. And you notice an older Skovlan man who's kind of like talking with him and like giving him like, you know, kind of like a massage on his shoulders and stuff. And then that's it, just those 2 people in the room. And you walk in, you're carrying these beers, and like Ulf looks up at you. He's like, "Do I know you?"
Maybe you do. From before.
I don't think he actually ever saw any of us because he got possessed by the ghost.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
He started
He kind of just
seizing on
came
the
out
ground.
and was crazy and yelling.
I don't think he even came out. I think he like dropped on the
He
floor.
said, "Why are you here? What do you want?"
I just show him the 4 bottles.
He says, and he looks to the trainer, and the trainer says, "No ale until after Ulf wins the fight." And he,
Once it doesn't hurt, they're all cold.
Ulf says, "You know what? Actually, I'll say make a sway roll.
You can have sway as
Like
well.
you're Skovlan, and you're carrying cold Skovlan beers, so why not?"
It makes sense.
2.
Okay, so you make your case, and Ulf says, "You can leave here, put on the table. After fight, I will be very thirsty."
I wish
And
for your
then
victory.
you set those down, and he says, "What is your name, boy?"
Would you like my real name?
In Skovlan. He says, "What is your name, boy?"
Castellan Aran.
Good Skovlan name.
I appreciate your contribution to the war back at home.
And you notice when you say that, the old man, like his coach basically, is like, "War is not over, even if Akoros doesn't know it."
We still live on, and we will keep fighting until they are at their knees.
Sounds like he's reading the script.
Ulf smiles, and he continues taping his wrists and hands, but you see that the coach is smiling at you and nodding, and he's like, you leave the tent.
Yes.
So you hear this discussion come to kind of a different tenor. You notice that the foolish-looking man is like kind of keeps talking, and then one of the guards for the nobleman just say, "That is enough." And the foolish man is like, "Oh, my apologies," and he does this swirly kind of swishing bow, and then he abruptly turns and walks away, and you see him kind of walking over by the Arumian tent, in the direction of the Arumian tent.
I'm going to keep Prowl and just kind of loosely tail him
Okay.
to see if he actually goes in the tent.
Kind of moving through the crowd. You are not right down in front of the Arumian tent, but you notice this sort of flamboyantly dressed man approaching, almost speed walking towards the Arumian tent.
Does he look Arumian?
No. Nope. He's Akorosi, fair-skinned, shaggy brown hair. His clothing is ridiculous and mismatched and clashing. He is clearly not any kind of noble or important-looking person on the outside.
Okay.
Just behind him, about 15 feet lagging back, you see Kobb kind of moving through. And you see Alex.
Okay. I'm gonna walk sort of in front of him, almost. I want to try and almost accidentally run into him in a sense, or have him run into me, because I want to try and start a conversation.
Nice. Let's do a finesse.
Finesse. Okay, I'm pushing myself because I have nothing in finesse.
Okay.
Bless me. 4.
All right. You kind of do a bump and shove, and he's like, pardon me.
Oh, no, trust me, that was my fault, friends. Here, I'm gonna reach into my trench coat and pull out a really fine bottle of whiskey. And
When you do that at first, when you reach in your trench coat, he's like,
sorry, I'm not, here, would you like a drink?
I would love a drink.
Okay, I'll pour him a small glass, hand it to him, he's like, where are you off to?
He sniffs the drink, and then you notice he listens to it, and he says, "It does not sound like poison." And he drinks it.
Only the best, from me.
And he says, "What is your name?"
My name's Alex. What might be yours?
My name is, you can call me Jacques.
Jacques. Like Jock or Jack?
Jacques.
Jacques, okay. Where you heading off to, my friend?
I was going to lay a wager. A bet.
Who are you betting for?
I would like to bet for the champion Pashtar.
Smart man.
I have heard he is incredibly skilled in the art of fighting, fisticuff, pugilism, the arts of war. With the fist.
Yes. If you ask me, Ulf has no chance of winning. You're making a good bet.
I would agree. I think that Ulf will probably not last more than the third round.
Good prediction. Let's see if that'll come true.
Have you also laid down a wager of your own? Perhaps some coin to lift you up from the state of poverty?
I'm doing just fine by myself, thank you.
No.
I'm glad that you're saying this, but I'm not much of a gambler myself. I may have a feeling that the champion will win, but I'm not quite sure, and I don't want to risk the very few that I have.
But of course, Smash Cut John, you see this interaction. You see Alex kind of head off this guy, and then they start talking, and then like he pulls out a bottle and pours a shot, and they're drinking like in the crowd. So they're still about 25 feet away from the Arumian tent. What are you doing during this time?
I think he has this guy kind of under control, so I might go and break off from that, try and find someone else. Because as long as we have somebody on that guy to just keep tabs on him,
well,
that'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could probably go out and try and see if anyone else is being a little mischievous.
Okay. As you're having that discussion, you're searching around. You've visited the Skovlans, and then you're just going to continue on your security detail.
I'm placing a bet on Ulf.
You're going to place a bet on Ulf. How many coin?
1 coin.
1 coin. Okay. You are kind of still by the bar and the band.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You were on the rooftops watching?
I'm watching the Emperor, and also, because I don't know where to put this, can I flash back and place a bet?
Yes. You sure can.
Flashback for
his gambling
I
addiction.
literally borrowed a coin from him to do this, and I just couldn't find a place to put it.
Now, you can bet just number of coins on who you want the winner to be. That's a basic bet. You can also bet even more of an advanced bet with higher odds if you can call the winner and what round.
I'm just going to place a 1 coin bet against Ulf.
Okay.
Good.
1 coin against Ulf. All right. You did that before.
Yeah.
So you're currently on the rooftops.
Still on the rooftops. I'm watching the Emperor.
You see this distinguished-looking man who he doesn't stand out from the other nobles. Like, he looks kind of in their peer group in terms of like their wardrobe and the security around them. But you do notice something, that no one outside of like nobility seems to be talking with him or even close to his circle of people. Like, whereas you see a lot of other groups mixing, where he's standing is just nobles and only nobles.
Because he has like an entourage with him?
Yes.
Okay.
It would appear that is. And you also don't see like non-nobles, like commoners, approaching him.
And I don't see anyone that could like look like maybe like a bodyguard, like some kind of secret service.
CIA.
Yeah.
Since this is like a little later in the night, I'll let you make another survey roll.
Okay. Go. 3.
It's middle.
I'll put it to you this way. You see some younger nobles
Okay.
who look like they're in very good shape. Not wielding any weapons, apparently, but could they also be people who are making sure that this person is safe? They could be.
Okay.
The second bout finishes up, and you guys are all kind of like actively doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, and you notice that more people have now arrived. The band starts back up. They resume the stage. They start playing some like, very kind of like swinging sort of like music that people are kind of like getting more drinks. More people are coming through the alleyways. One of not the rooftop guy, but one of the ground level recruits that you guys hired from the Lampblacks, comes and finds you, John, and tells you that the invitation list is almost complete. Like everybody who's supposed to be here is almost here. There's only a few people missing. He's like, so this crowd of people is what we're gonna have to deal with.
Have you seen anyone acting a fool?
He says no. He's like, everybody who's come through once they were checked off on the list, we gave them a good once over to make sure that they weren't smuggling any weapons in. He says, so far so good.
All right.
So far, it sounds like everything is going way according to plan, but we'll see what happens.
So far.
The final fight's coming up, so
Yeah.
that's when all the fishy stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
He's like, do you want us still by the front?
Have those Skovlan guys that were standing there, have they moved yet?
Nope.
They're still standing
Standing up against a wall, watching everyone else.
keep.
there? Yeah, like, watch them from a distance. Make sure they don't do anything.
So one of us should stay by the front, by the alleyway entrance, and the other one watch the Skovlans?
Yeah. That'd probably be smart.
Okay. So they split up. Music's playing, people are socializing. About a half an hour of a break goes by. Some workers like went up onto the fighting stage and like kind of wiped it off, cleaned it up a little bit. And at a certain point, you hear this loud voice, and you see a man step into the ring, and he holds up a megaphone, basically, not a powered megaphone, but just like a cone. And he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, and now the moment we have been waiting for, the fight that will determine who is the champion of Duskville in this special event. In this corner, weighing in at 245 pounds, the Disruptor, the Crusher, the Pashtar of Arumia!" And like a bunch of people cheer, and you see like the tent flaps open and the two Wongs like start walking through the crowd, and this huge dude who you've seen before, just slathered in tattoos, comes out like dun, 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 and he has like a cape on and like shorts, and like people are just moving out of the way as the two Wongs kind of like form like a wedge and move through the crowd towards the ring. The Pashtar like climbs up there, and he like does like flexes to the crowd, and people cheer for him. And then the announcer says, "And in this corner, the defender, the warrior, none other than General Alfireball." And like you notice a bunch of people clap as well. It's pretty evenly mixed in terms of enthusiasm. Ulf just walks out of his tent on his own with like his coach behind him carrying like a towel and like a bucket of water, and they kind of walk towards the stage. Far less fanfare. Ulf just like pulls himself up onto the stage and kind of goes to his corner and sort of paces back and forth. You notice that Ulf is not really putting on the same kind of show for the crowd as the Pashtar.
Not if he's not a people's man. It's
I
fine.
lift up my cudgel and I cheer, yeah!
You do. Interestingly enough, you notice that the two Skovlan veterans did not cheer for either of these fighters.
Sus.
The MC steps out of the ring, and there's like a referee man that steps into the ring and talks to both of the fighters. As the fight is about to begin, just to confirm, where is everyone? So you were over by the bar and the band. Where are you now, Filip?
Probably by the other bar.
Okay.
Stop getting drunk.
You're on the bar. So you moved to the bar across the courtyard, closer to the alleyway entrance?
Yeah.
Okay. Where is Alex at this time?
Alex will be near the front, making with, the other Lampblack, making sure nobody else gets in. If
Okay.
all the invitees are here.
You peruse the list. You can hear the hubbubbery of the fight happening down the alley. You look at the list. It looks like there's only 3 people who haven't been checked in yet.
Okay.
The names don't strike you as important. you don't recognize any of the names.
Does it look like more people are still trying to get in, though?
No.
Okay. Then I will stay near the front, but I still want to keep an eye on the crowd in case they try to do anything.
So then you're going to move not from the front of the alley, but to the front of the courtyard where the alley meets the courtyard.
Like here.
Okay, cool. All right, Lukas, where is Demon going to be?
I'll be on the Skovlan side by the two quiet, uncheery Skovlans, but not making it obvious
Okay.
that I'm guarding that place.
John, where are you?
I'm going to be walking around the perimeter of the outside of the crowd.
Okay, so kind of keeping an eye on everything, walking around sort of the outside perimeter. Okay.
So, by the way, just for clear, so we can write this on the map here. How thick is the crowd surrounding the circle?
It pretty much fills the rest of the space. Like when he says I'm walking around the outside, there's like about a 15-foot band of space outside of where the crowd and the seats are.
Pretty much this entire courtyard is filled to the brim,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Max, when the announcements began, you notice that the group of nobles actually walked towards a specific set of seats that no one was sitting in. They go up into this set of seats. And you notice that a couple of the younger looking nobles aren't sitting. They're like standing at kind of the steps up to that riser. And one is standing off to the side in the aisle going into the seats near the young, well-appointed man.
Okay.
As you're kind of scanning down into this crowd, it's a very dense crowd. Everybody's there. You see Demon kind of like on the outskirts, sort of by these Skovlans. You see Kobb kind of making a perimeter walk, slowly looking, kind of like gauging everyone in the crowd. You see Alex kind of emerge from the alley and just sort of stand in the entrance to the courtyard from the alley, sort of surveying the crowd. And then you like turn your attention back up to the roof line, but you don't see the other roof guy, like your other lampblack who was across the roof from you.
Oh,
He's not there.
shoot. Did I see him anywhere in the crowd?
Nope.
Oh boy.
Ding! The first round begins. Ulf and the Pashtar go at it. And to simulate this combat, I'm going to have each one of you roll for a round. So in honor of Skovlan Heritage Month, Lukas, you're going to roll for Ulf in this round, and I'm going to roll for the Pashtar. Go ahead and roll 2 dice.
5.
Okay.
Oh no.
The first round, Ulf is just going hard. Like he's laying jabs and combos in. The Pashtar is trying to defend, and Ulf's just going heavy, hard. It's a back and forth. It's pretty evenly matched, but Ulf kind of gets more hits in that first round. The bell dings again, for the break, the end of the first round. Each of them go back to their kind of corners. Their coaches are working with them. You guys notice that a lot of people in the crowds are, just chatting kind of casually as if the first round really wasn't going to be that big of an impact. Second round begins. Ding. I'll roll for Ulf in this one, and John, you roll for the Pashtar. Roll 2D.
Double ones.
Well, surprisingly, the Pashtar did not do that well either. So the second round is a whole lot of wasting time. It's like they're jabbing and hitting each other, but you could tell that they're kind of more being on the defense, and neither one of them seems to be ready to take any major risks. It hasn't gone into an exciting brawl.
It's a break round. They're playing neutral.
The second round really was, you know, just kind of like a lot of grapples, but nothing really significant happening. Damn. Ding, there's a break. The third round begins. Shannon, who would you like to roll for, the Pashtar or Ulf?
Let's go for the Pashtar.
Okay,
I've got
go ahead and roll your 2D.
my metal dice.
Let's do it. Fail.
2 4s.
In the third round, the Pashtar starts to kind of represent. He gets a few good elbow smashes in, and he grapples Ulf at one point and brings him to the ground, and it looks like Ulf might not be able to keep up, but then Ulf kind of reverses the move and throws the Pashtar off, and then they box a little more, and then the end of the round. But the third round looks like it might have gone towards the Pashtar a little bit.
So it's even now.
And you are still studying the crowd.
Yeah, I'm still just slowly walking around.
Who in your group has the best survey roll?
I have 1 survey.
One.
I have 2.
You have 2 as well?
No, I have
Thanks.
0.
2.
You're on the rooftop still, right?
Yep.
Shame.
Still on the
You
rooftop.
still don't see the other guy who was supposed to be across from you. As you're surveying the crowd, though, you notice that after the third round, you see some people get up and leave. Like about 30 people. And not they're all in one group. Like just a mix of people get up and leave.
What if they have bombs?
Yeah, no, wait. Is there any like commonality between them? Are they like same race?
It's a mix. And when I say mix, I mean Akorosi, Skovlan, couple of Arumians, and also mix of class. Like you could tell by their clothing almost. And they're not seated together. They just seemed to be just not really very happy. Like none of them are getting up with smiles and like laughing. They're all like, they all seem like
Well, they probably
quite discontent.
Yeah.
they were probably betting on it ending by the third round or something.
Oh, they probably did the advanced bet of like
They did
third
probably.
round Pashtar or something, third round Ulf, you know. But
All right, Philip, it's your turn. Do you want to roll for Ulf or the Pashtar?
Can I make a quick,
just roll.
Survey?
no, not a survey. Why am I forgetting the word? What's the one where you go back in time?
Flashback.
Flashback, yeah. Can I make a flashback and bet on Ulf?
Ulf to win? How many
Yes.
coins?
Let's go 2.
Yeah.
Big spender.
Yeah.
Who are you rolling for? Pashtar?
You're going to roll for the Pashtar or are you going to roll for Ulf?
I'm going to roll for Ulf.
All right, you roll for Ulf. Ready?
Roll
1,
that,
2,
roll
3.
that.
Roll 1.
2 threes.
In the fourth round, the Pashtar seems to have more dominance. Once again, he puts Ulf into a grapple and just starts wailing on him, on his torso, and Ulf seems to be really struggling. Ulf, however, breaks this and again throws the Pashtar off, but you can see that Ulf is taking some harm at this point. Like, he's taking a lot of shots, and he's starting to struggle in the fourth round.
It's just whoever rolls a 1 at this point. I bet.
My double 1.
After the fourth round, you guys notice maybe about 20 more people from different positions kind of get up and leave.
I'm gonna stop one real quick. And
Okay.
I want to ask him, hey, why are you leaving, man? What's up? The fight's entertaining, right?
He's like, I'm sure it'll be entertaining, but I just lost a lot of coin.
It's always next time.
So it would seem.
Okay.
You get this general disposition from most of the people leaving that they aren't happy.
Okay, so it's
Max, make another survey roll. It's been a few
Coin
minutes.
Awesome.
You've been kind of doing your visual sweeps of the crowd. You've noticed that the general demeanor of the people getting up and leaving after the third round and now again after the fourth round is one of unhappiness and financial loss.
Awesome.
Make a survey roll.
6
and 5.
Okay, so you kind of do this sweep. You're like, more people are leaving. You're looking through your scope. You look back across the roof line, and you see your guy there. And he's looking, he's also has a rifle and a scope, and he's looking through the crowd. You got a 6 and a 5, though, so the clouds at night pass over, and for the briefest moment, there's a little more ambient light. And you notice that the person on the rooftop opposite of you with the rifle and the scope, though dressed the same way as the person who had been there, who you had talked to, who you had in fact hired, is not the same person.
You might want to try and stop that.
Yeah, no.
You can't shoot though, or else that'll be too much of a
I
commotion.
can't shoot.
See, you have climbing gear at least, so you can try and like maneuver your way over there.
I do.
You're not there.
I know. I want to.
Yeah.
Stop.
Is there any way I can get his attention?
Sure. What do you do?
You know what? No, I'm gonna start making my way across, like kind of off to the side with my climbing gear.
Okay. Are you trying to sneak over there? Would you like to make
let's say sure.
a prowl?
Yes, and I'm gonna push myself for that.
Go ahead.
6 and a 4.
Wow. You expertly, like, you kind of like lay yourself down low, crawl up the roof to the other side, and go around, trying to avoid being seen. You stealth over to the connecting back end of the roof, and you get over to the other side, and you're kind of doubling back around him. Now this takes a little time. So smash cut, ding, round 5 begins. Who are you rolling for? Ulf or the Pashtar?
Ulf.
All right, you're rolling for Ulf. Go ahead.
One.
Fuck off. 2.
Uh-oh. No!
Yeah! The Pashtar is wailing on Ulf. Wailing on Ulf. Like, blood, like, Ulf's beat up. Like, his eye is cut. He's bleeding heavily from his eye. His face is bruised. You see bruises on his ribs. Like, he's obviously struggling to stay up, and the Pashtar is just like smashing him. And you notice that there's a lot of people in the crowd now, like just like cheering for this thing to happen. Somehow Ulf makes it, although barely, like by a thread. He seems to be in bad shape. He makes it through the end of this 5th round. Ding. And when they take a break, Ulf kind of like hobbles his way back to the corner. You see the coach kind of like massaging his shoulders and splashing water on his face and drying off the blood and trying to blot the wound and stop the bleeding. The Pashtar, though he's taken a couple hits, looks like he's in significantly better shape than Ulf. You notice after the 5th round that a few more people get up and leave, but the rest of the crowd seems to be genuinely into the fight.
Good.
Back to the roofs. Max.
Great.
Your prowl roll was superb, and your approach kind of to flank him and come up behind him on his roof has succeeded. Now he's only about 20 feet away from you. He's at the edge of the roof line overlooking the crowd. And you see that he's like looking. You can kind of see that he's using the scope on his rifle to kind of like peruse that roof, that crowd.
Great. I'm gonna try to like get up behind him, and then I'll just take out like one of my pistols, and I'll just put it like to his back and just go dome.
Make that command roll.
Great. I'm gonna push myself for that.
I'm going to say that you are in an excellent position for this. So the effect of this command roll, if you succeed, will have greater impact.
Okay. 6. Yeah. Wow. Oh my god.
My man. Oh my God.
You were as silent as the shadows, and you're just like, don't. And you see the guy take one hand off of his rifle and put it up, and set the rifle down on the roof line and put the other hand up. So he's on his belly, but he's like, okay, you got me.
Okay.
Shunning time.
Yeah, but first, can I like? Can any part of the climbing gear be used to like tie him up or something?
Absolutely.
Like restrain his
Yes.
Yeah.
Use
Yeah.
rope to climb.
Yeah. You just tie up his hands and just go
So he's still on his belly. You pull his hands back
Yeah.
this way or behind his back that way?
behind his back.
Okay, so you pull his hands back.
And then, where's my guy?
He had to go.
Great. I didn't hear like a belt or anything, right? Cool.
He said,
Who are you looking at down there?
he said, who hired you?
Who hired me?
That's what he says to you. He says, who hired you?
I'm pretty sure I have client confidentiality on that.
He says, we'll pay you double just to walk away. That's all you have to do. Just leave. You and your guys leave. We'll pay you double whatever they paid you.
You know, man, the fight's kind of going my way. I stand to make some good money tonight. I don't think I need anything else.
Yes.
He says, sue yourself.
Then can I use some of the rope and can I just gag him?
Jesus.
Yeah. He's on his belly, hands firmly tied behind his back, and he's gagged.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Just so you know, the rifle that he has is like way better than yours.
I'm gonna take it.
You could tell that like the craftsmanship of this long rifle is incredible. The scope also looks incredible. Like the optical elements, like the glass, are like flawless. The casing, the like metal casing that holds the optical elements for the scope, and the way in which it's bolted to the gun, looks like if you turn a dial, you can actually adjust it.
Okay, not only am I gonna take that, but can I like study it a bit, maybe get a sense of like where it was made, like any kind of group it could belong to, like any kind of identifying mark?
Yes. We'll be back to you in a moment.
Okay.
Ding, the 6th round. John, you have the honor of choosing between rolling for Ulf or the Pashtar.
Roll for the Pashtar.
Okay, here we go.
Double one again.
This is Ulf's comeback round. No. In the 6th round, Ulf comes at the Pashtar like with renewed vigor and is just like hammering the Pashtar with like boxing techniques, and then gets him in like a vice grip and almost chokes him out, and the Pashtar barely escapes, but has taken significant harm in this round. And the 6th round, the crowd is losing their minds.
God, I don't have.
Once again, you notice that no one departs after the 6th round. Everybody who's here seems to be in it for the whole fight. Among the people that you have seen throughout this, by the way, that group of nobles, this strange, colorful person who identified himself as Jacques, the band, like the workers.
Of course the band is still there.
The 2 Skovlan veterans, they're all still there, as well as, 110 other people cheering on this fight. The 6th round was a huge, huge round. John, anything specific other than making your circuit?
Not much, just do a little survey into the crowd. Can I make that roll?
Please do.
4.
You notice that although he's not seated up on the risers with the rest of the nobles, that the quirky, flamboyantly dressed Jacques is kind of like pacing back and forth, just like 5 feet outside of the ring. He seems to be like very nervous, as if whatever happens next could have an impact on his life.
Yeah, because he bet his life savings on Pashtar, I bet.
Filip,
Yes.
do me a favor.
Yes.
Make a survey roll. You are watching people over by where you are, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pushing myself for this one. Please work.
Oh, 6.
That's a 6.
Huge.
You notice that the band is now packing up their equipment. While you're looking at them packing up their equipment over the shoulder, you kind of like look back to the crowd. And then you look back and you notice that one of the members of the band has 3 cases next to him, 3 cases for instruments. But he only had like a cello. And the cello case is open, and he's like laying the cello case in the case. The other 2 cases are not open, but they look like they're the same shape as like a cello or a longer instrument.
Is there anyone else out there with him?
Yeah, like the other members of the band are like they're putting away their woodwind instruments, but it looks like each member of the band has like one case. You notice that the percussionist has like, 4 different cases, but like you see the instruments, like the lids are open, you see the instruments, like the different drums in there. But the one cello player looks like he has a couple extra instrument cases, and 2 of them, the lids are closed.
Like, could be suspicious, could not be. No, musicians are talented. I'm going to walk over there just in case. But
Okay.
I'll still be by the bar.
Okay. Of course. You get a little closer. And you see that they're packing up their stuff. Over to you.
Okay.
You notice that the Skovlan veterans, like the one that talked to you, went to the bar and came back with 2 more large mugs. They're not drinking Skovlan beer. You notice that they're drinking like a liquor that was poured into a mug.
These have to be blue coats, like in disguise.
They
But is there anything else I can observe on the Skovlan side besides the 2 shifty, quote-unquote, Skovlans?
Like, are you talking about going into Ulf's tent?
No.
Okay. You don't see anyone really even hanging out over there.
Okay.
So.
And then how's the crowd?
The crowd is thinned out a little bit, but basically, like, everybody after the 5th round who, like, if people didn't leave, they've stayed. So the crowd is not thinned out anymore in the last 2 rounds, which have been the most exciting of the fight. On the other corner, Shannon.
Yes.
You're at the entrance to the courtyard. Make me a survey roll.
Okay, I'm going to push myself for this. It's a double 6.
Oh my god.
You are surveying the crowd. Across the crowd, you see that where the Pashtar's tent is, those 2 members of the Wongs have gone back, and they're like standing in front of the tent guarding it, even though the Pashtar is in the ring. You also look over your shoulder down the alley, and you don't see anybody. And then you look over your shoulder again, and you're like, why don't I see anyone?
Wait, the lampblack's not there?
Nope.
I'm gonna...
Now, you see the like makeshift entrance gate basically that they had, where there's like a ticket taking booth sort of and like a swinging door. That's there. You see down the alley, it's there, but you don't see him there.
Is the gate or the door able to be locked in any way, or?
Doesn't look like anything's secured.
Okay, do I see Kobb anywhere? With looking around?
Yes. You see Kobb like kind of surveying the crowd.
I'm gonna go grab Kobb, and I'm gonna tell him, I think our lampblacks are either straying from their path or someone's messing with them, because the guy that's with me over at the gate's not there anymore. We need to go look.
You look around the crowd.
I want to walk down the alley just a little bit
Okay.
and see if anyone's down there.
There's no one down there. He walks back with you. There's no one down the alley, and there's no one at the entrance gate of the alley.
Look for anyone wearing the attire that our lampblacks were wearing. If they're wearing it, background check them.
All right.
Because they might be imposters.
We have a 3rd lampblack.
Yeah, in the crowd.
We should
Do you
go
want to go find him?
Yeah, I want to go find
Okay,
him.
make a survey roll.
I'll stand by the gate.
Okay.
Survey. 6.
Jesus.
You survey the crowd. You don't find your lampblack guy. But you do find a stub, like a ticket stub. Not for this event, but for another event. Like, it looks old. It looks like maybe a couple months old.
Is there a name on it for who it would belong to or what the event name was?
It says, no, actually there isn't. It's a series of numbers. So imagine like a ticket with like 8 numbers on it, and it was torn in half. So you can only see like the first 4 numbers.
Does it look similar to the one that our guy was holding? Or is it, what I'm trying to ask, is this the same one or is this different?
No, this looks like the same style of ticket. Well, actually you wouldn't know this unless you go show this to him. You know, because these tickets are what people entered here with, right? They were invited, they had a ticket with a specific like serial number on it, and that was checked against a ledger. You're standing down by that entrance gate. You see the ledger. Everyone that came in was their ticket was taken. All that stuff is still sitting there. The ledger's there, but literally just your dude is not there.
Wait, so did I get told that there's 3 people that weren't marked?
Yes.
Think what I'm thinking?
Oh shit.
3 people aren't marked on here, and our lamp blacks are missing. We hired 3 lamp blacks.
Yeah.
The lamp blacks that we hired got traded out for these 3
You're
people.
only talking to
I'm
Kobb
only
right
talking
now.
to Kobb.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I'm looking at him directly. We need to go find them, and we need to tie them up somehow. Make sure they can't cause anything, because this might be the thing that's going to be causing trouble for us. Okay?
Okay. So we
Don't-
just need to go find our 3 lamp blacks.
Don't look like you're looking for them specifically.
Yeah, just continue like normal.
Find them. If we can't, then there's going to be problems. So I'm going to end it off there, and I'm going to keep a close hand towards my concealed palm pistol just in case. And
Are
I'm gonna
you
go
staying by the ticket booth at the entrance to the alley, or are you going down the alley to the entrance of the courtyard where you can see everything?
I will stand. I'm gonna go down the alleyway,
Okay.
just to sort of check it out, make sure no one's hiding, make sure there's no unconscious.
There is nothing in this alleyway. It was
Nothing?
cleaned out.
Okay,
There's nowhere to hide.
and then I'm gonna stand here,
Okay.
by the entrance of the alleyway, but making sure I have both an eye on the alleyway itself and on the crowd, looking specifically for our missing lamp blacks.
Okay.
I'm gonna go find you and tell them everything that's going on about the imposters.
Okay. You head across the crowd.
You laugh.
Kobb walks over to you. Go ahead.
So the 3 lamp blacks we hired might have been switched out with people stealing their identities or whatever. There's 3 names still unaccounted for. So if you see our 3 lamp blacks, tie them up. But don't make it obvious you're looking for them.
I'll try.
The 7th round. Who are you rolling for? Ulf or the Pashtar?
How's your luck feeling today, fella?
No. I'm gonna roll for our posture.
Go ahead. Roll.
Roll double 6. Double 6.
No!
6 in a row!
No! I hate you. I hate
All
you.
of you going for Ulf?
I'm rooting for
I rolled
the
double 1s for Ulf. I don't know what
Let's
you mean.
go. Let's go.
6 and a 5.
You're all getting
Third
broken
Pashtar.
bones tonight.
You can't.
In the 7th round, this is how this goes down. In the 7th round, despite the 6th round rally from Ulf, the Pashtar lays down a world of pain. It's jabs, combos, elbow smashes. At one point, he literally somehow picks up Ulf, who is not a small person, and slams him to the ground, knocking the wind out of him, just puts him in this incredible grapple, and has Ulf pinned and just starts wailing on Ulf. And Ulf is literally unconscious before the referee calls the fight.
You came to the Wong Arena.
So many, well played, so many of the crowd cheer in excitement, and you see people triumphantly shaking their coin purses, which is a symbol of victory and winning your bets. You see some very disappointed people as well, but they don't immediately leave. And you notice that most of the band has already started walking away from where you are. They're carrying their instruments back towards the alley to leave. The fight is finished. People start talking. Some of them go over to the bars and get drinks to celebrate. other people start leaving. You see like a fair-sized crowd, probably like 40 or 50 people from all over the space kind of coming towards the alley towards you to leave, including some members of the band carrying their cases.
I'm going to keep close eye to see if any of them resemble the lampblacks that we hired, or if there's any... So
you do not see anyone that matches that description. Smash cut up to the roof. You have a prisoner. You're studying the rifle. The rifle's incredible. The scope is incredible.
Right. I'm just gonna keep I want to keep an eye on the Emperor's Son's area. Like no one's approaching there. No one's eyeballing him suspiciously. Just
after the fight, his group is among the first to get up and start making their way towards the exit.
Okay.
And you notice the two younger, more well-built nobles are flanking him, basically. And you notice they're constantly, their eyes are looking all around, including up to the roof.
Oh, they see you.
No.
That's not good. Are you using the rifle to look, or are you using the spyglass?
Oh no.
You're not using your rifle to look down there. You're just looking, but you notice that one of them looks up and it's as if he sees you. And you see he puts his hand on the young nobleman and pushes him forward, and he turns and says and you see his mouth moving. The other guy puts his shoulder around the young nobleman, and they start running, and he's pushing his way through the crowd towards the alley.
You know what? That might be for the best. That's definitely for the best.
Then you see the other guy who spotted you reach into his jacket and pull out a pistol and aim, and he fires.
Oh boy.
Never mind. That wasn't for the best.
You are shot in the shoulder.
Oh, nice.
You take 3 harm.
3? Very cool.
These must be high grade.
I'm real hurt.
He is now running through the crowd to catch up with the other two. When he fires, all hell breaks loose. The sound, first of all, ricochets in this courtyard, and everybody's half the crowd ducks for cover. Other people just break out into panic and start running. You're standing at the entrance of the alleyway. You see a group of nobles, one of whom appears to be being shielded, and the man shielding him yells, "Out of the way!"
Okay, I move out of the way.
And then they run. As soon as they get to the alley, he's running along with the younger man. You see the Skovlan veterans. When that gunfire rings out, they reach into the back of their jackets and pull out 2 pistols each and run to the stage. They're running towards the stage. And you see as they're running, they're looking all around.
I think after you...
You see the Pashtar, when the gunfire rings out, he jumps off the boxing ring, out of the circle, and begins running towards the tent. You see the 2 Wong security guards also reach into their jackets and pull out pistols and start looking around everywhere.
I pull out.
You also see 2 Wong guards come out from the tent with rifles, and they're looking at the rooftops. You see the cellist.
He pulls out a RPG.
reaches into both of the closed cases and opens them up, but there aren't guns inside. Make a tinker roll.
It is a bomb. I knew it. I knew there would be bombs.
There's no such thing as an innocent cellist.
I'm gonna make 3.
Hey, I got a cellist friend.
No, you don't.
5, 4, and 2.
5?
4 and 2. Yes.
These are bombs.
Wow.
There's a lot of explosives in these cases, and you see clockwork timers set up. And you see him, he's reaching to the timers as if to turn them. So, that is the setting for this. You just got shot. It's back up to you.
I'm real hurt.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Everything that you try to do is going to be at a challenge. So
Right.
what is it that you are doing?
Is my prisoner still secure? Is he not going?
Yeah.
anywhere? Okay, thank God.
You see him kind of trying to belly scooch out of the way, like so that he's not leaning over the ledge.
Use him to say that.
Follow suit.
Yeah. I'm gonna just get down, I guess. for
Okay,
now.
you take cover.
Yeah.
All right. That's valid and important. What are you doing?
Okay, so where's Ulf?
He's
So
unconscious.
Ulf is in the ring still. His coach is like, blotting him with like water, he looks like he's kind of starting to rouse. And you see the two Skovlan like veterans, both packing pistols, like running towards the stage.
Do they look like they're going to kill him or they're going to protect him?
You don't know.
Okay. I kind of say we should try and get him
So
back to his
there's
tent so no one can hurt him.
two situations that we need to focus on. There's Ulf. I think the Arumians are fine. They might suspect us though if we pull out weapons, so don't do it just yet.
Okay, what do you do? I need to know your actions.
Okay. Do I see the musicians opening their case for bombs, or
No.
is that just okay?
Because you're not anywhere near them.
Okay, I'm gonna run over to Ulf without a weapon drawn
Okay.
and try and tell the coach we need to get him back to his tent.
Okay. I'm going to have you make a sway roll.
Awesome. 2.
Okay. You run over there and you're like trying to get the coach's attention. The coach is like helping Ulf to get up. And you're like, we got to get Ulf over to his tent. And you see the two Skovlan veterans are like, they see you and they're like, help him. And they kind of fan out and form like a phalanx of protection, sort of like looking at the rooftops, looking at the crowd. And you see now that they've run to his defense.
Okay.
You and the coach are helping to carry Ulf, who's only semi-conscious, out of the ring and back to his tent. And you have the Skovlan veterans like flanking you for security. Smash cut to you.
I'll run up behind Ulf and kind of just be a big meat shield for Ulf, like walking behind him, just like this.
You feel like you might be able to help carry Ulf better than the old man coach. And
I'll do
and
that
Kobb.
as well.
Okay, you come up. The Skovlan's like, first they spin and wheel at you as if they were going to shoot you, and they're like, carry him. Carry him.
Drop him, Kobb, you
You
weak
basically just flip Ulf over your shoulders.
You wouldn't switch out with the old
So
man?
all of you guys are moving in a mob, basically, to get Ulf to safety in his tent. Moment of truth.
Save everyone.
You see the cellist moving in to turn the timers, the clockwork.
Hear me out.
Are you gonna shoot him?
I'm gonna shoot him.
Oh God! If you miss, that's gonna make the.
Are you... Okay, so you're shooting.
I'm gonna pull out my pistol and try
What
to.
if he rolled 2 once and he shot the explosive?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm
right.
saying.
Remember, no depth, no
Well, then
depth.
there's no.
I am also
let
gonna be
anyone
trying
die.
to go for
Like his hand or his leg?
his hand, just something that is not gonna
realize
kill me.
that's close to the
bomb.
Okay.
Taking the 6.
Here we go.
Shoot him in the
This
shoulder.
is a pretty important roll. Go ahead.
One at a time.
Where is other assassins?
3. 3.
Oh
Great.
my God.
You fire. Now listen, you're like, oh crap, and you pull out your gun and you go to fire, and it skims past him. It doesn't hit his hands. As he's leaning over, you just kind of shoot over him.
Now you're gonna get shot by the Arumians.
By me. You see, despite being fired at, he reaches up and he does something with the timers. And then he turns and he starts running, and he's literally going to try to jump off the stage. Yes?
I want to say that do I hear the shot by the stage? I mean, obviously it's a gun.
Everyone heard everything.
Okay, so I'm gonna start running over to the stage, and I see him holding out a gun, and I see the cellist trying to run.
You're talking about the band stage, right?
Band stage,
Yes.
wherever the
Yeah.
wherever he is. So
Everybody's moving away from that area towards the alley to try to get out. Because remember, only one way in, only one way out. And it's a mob of people trying to squeeze through a very tight area. So it's not like everybody's instantaneously getting out.
Okay. Which is fine.
Which is fine.
Don't care about that right now.
Yep.
What's the situation I see? Do I see what he saw, but obviously I don't know what's in there?
No, you saw him pull out a gun and shoot at one of the musicians, who then, well, it looks like they were like leaning over and getting something from their music cases, and then the guy just like turns and kind of runs and jumps off the stage for cover.
I'm gonna grab his shoulder and be like, what the hell, man? Why'd you do that? There's gotta be a reason.
There's bombs in that case.
There's bombs! Okay, can I use a flashback real quick?
Yes.
I want to bring tinkering tools.
Okay.
Okay.
I have them too.
Well, just too bad. I also have them now.
Okay.
You're gonna break them.
And I want to sort of, help him get up there, and we need to defuse these bombs.
So you're not dealing with the cellist.
Honestly, he can get out for all I care. There's something more important.
Okay, so is that what you guys are going to do? Are you going to try to go up to the stage and disarm the bombs?
Well, obviously, if
I don't want to.
You're the one that's done.
you're the
good with
one that
tinkering.
knows bombs.
You gotta disarm it, dude.
Fine, I'll give it my best
You
shot.
literally made bombs.
Yeah.
Philip, you push
I
yourself-
meant to explode them, not stop them from exploding.
You push yourself and then he helps you, and then you
Yeah.
get like 4 rolls.
Yeah.
All right, this is an important action roll, so I'm just going to go through the mechanics of the game, because I'm not going to lie, if you fail this, it's very likely that both of you will not be in this game anymore.
Wait, can we
So
just make new characters?
you're going, yes.
Or you can a robot.
Your goal is to disarm these bombs, right?
I remember
Yes.
robots.
Okay.
Those exist.
You're both going to use Tinker.
Those are
This is a risky position, but you want to help him out because he has the higher Tinker ability,
So
right?
that's why, would I take a stress in order to assist?
So yes. So basically, you're going to take 2 stress, Shannon,
Okay.
because this is not something that's in your wheelhouse. You have the tools, and you're kind of like there for like emotional support. Like you're like, here's more tools. What do you need? You could do this. Like, and how many dice do you have with that bonus dice from him?
He has
3, and I can push myself for 4.
You might want to do that.
yes.
I'm going to do that.
Okay,
Oh, God.
take 2 stress.
Yes, buddy, it's fine. We can
We can de-stress you.
de-stress you later,
We
fella.
can't put you back together.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
So
Lots of duct tape.
this is the important part
We
of
like to
this,
invent duct tape.
because effectively what that guy did was
Oh, right.
this was a clock. That bomb was a clock, and when he successfully turned it, he basically just turned all the ticks off. So I know how many ticks are left. If you successfully disarm this, it's disarmed. If you don't successfully disarm it, depending on where your level of success is, you may have ticked off the remaining ticks and kaboom, or just made it 1 tick closer to doom. So that's where we're at. You got 4 dice.
Okay.
You're in a risky
They never
position
said
right
you
now.
don't have to have the
I'm sorry.
warehouse.
No, it's not risky. It's desperate.
Hey, listen, it's worth the shot. Okay.
4.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay.
5.
Okay, looking nice.
2.
Is that majority good so far?
So 5.
5. There is
You
a
do
5.
it, but suffer serious consequence.
You partially explode.
Well, you put the bombs go
Here's
off.
what you realize.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
You, of the 2 cases, you disable the first one.
Wait, there's 2.
Yes.
You disable the first one completely. You're going to do the second one, and you're looking at the ticker, and it's like 10 seconds. And you realize at this point, this is why I'm saying you succeed, but there are consequences. You realize there's no way you could disarm the second one,
That's fine.
and that you have 10 seconds to move away from this, otherwise you die.
Is this near any people?
No.
There's not?
Nope.
Which is dip. Then. It's fine.
You guys run full speed away from that stage.
It's 1 less explosive. It's
It
less destructive.
explodes. You're each going to take 2 harm.
That's fine. That's fine.
It explodes. And even though you weren't right there, like the explosive force of this blows you guys to the ground. blows out a hole in the wall of the warehouse where the stage was up against. Boom! Like this reverberates, right? The concussive force sends like kind of a shockwave through the rest of the courtyard. The sound is incredibly loud. Your ears are ringing, both of you guys. You guys have made it to Ulf's tent, where you bring in Ulf, you kind of lay him out on this cot. He's half conscious. You see a bucket of water, some towels, and 4 beers sitting on a table. The Skovlan veterans, after this, like you get into the tent and literally this explosion happens. The flaps of the tent are like flapping, for lack of a better word, intently. The 2 Skovlan veterans, they're like, what the hell is going on? They spin, and then with their guns, they look out the flaps, and they're like, we must get out of here. They're bombing.
I'll just pick up Ulf, and then I'll just say, where do I go?
In Skovlan.
Yes, in Skovlan.
He tells you, he says, we will make whole. And then you see them both go out of the tent up to the wooden walls of the warehouse and just start like kicking and smashing it and like shooting the walls, basically. That takes a few minutes, but basically they make enough holes in the walls to where they can reach in with their hands and pry boards off.
I could have done that.
And they're making another hole for you guys to get into the warehouse and get out. All conversation from that point forward is in Skovlan. What are you doing?
So the guys with Ulf is me, Demon, and...
The coach and the 2 veterans.
Okay.
So in the tent now, while the 2 veterans are making a hole in the warehouse, it's you, the coach, Ulf, and Demon. And a bucket of water, towels, and 4 bottles of Skovlan beer.
We don't want to leave with them. We want to also make sure that the other guy makes it out too.
Then you go do
Yeah, so I'll go over to their tent and, tell them I'm here to help. We need to get you
You're
out of
running
here.
out through the chaos. You hear people screaming and trying to get through the alley, but it's so dense, there's so many people that there's kind of like a traffic backup. But it's totally wide and clear. There's debris all over the place, like broken wood and burning like pieces. But you see across the courtyard the Arumian tent, and you see the Arumians are out front. Like you're kind of, no roll necessary. You feel like if you go over there, they might just shoot you because they don't know you necessarily. These guys. It looks like they have their sector on lockdown.
I think they're fine.
Okay. What do we do?
Back up to the roof.
What?
You're bleeding out. What would you like to do?
So, for harm, am I in a position to like move at all?
Yes.
Okay.
You can crawl, and using your climbing kit, you can climb down and get off of this roof.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll start climbing, making my way down.
Okay. Which rifle would you like to take with you? Because I'm going to say that in your state, you can't really take both.
Yeah. I'll take the better one. I'm not sure if that's going to have
You sling his rifle. You leave him on the roof.
Just give him a middle finger.
He's just like,
wait. Okay, before I leave, I'm going to ungag him.
yeah.
If you tell me who you work for, I'll cut you free.
He's like, fine, I'll tell you who I work for.
Okay.
He says, I work for the Empire.
Oh, all right then. Do I get the sense that he's telling the truth?
If he's willing to say 6 gold for us to leave.
This is a dire situation.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll let you make a survey roll.
A survey?
Or study?
I feel like
They're the same. I have 2 and 1.
Yeah, just make that.
5 and 3.
You feel like he's telling the truth.
Okay.
And to be quite honest, when he tells you that he works for the Empire, You are now a little bit scared.
Should we take that 6 gold and left?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just gonna start climbing down.
Okay.
Oh, you do.
You go to the other side, presumably.
bleeding out,
You're not
dude.
climbing down into an alley
Yeah,
full of people trying to get out. That takes a while because you're bleeding and it hurts. You guys pull yourselves up from the ground after having been blown to the ground from concussive force. And you're cut up, you're burned, your ears are ringing. What do you want to do?
Where's the cellist?
Gone, probably.
No.
Why is that?
You see him trying to get out with all the other people. Like you see the back of him kind of moving into the crowd of the people trying to get out.
Do I see any of my friends besides him?
You see Kobb.
I'm gonna try and yell at Kobb, get the cellist.
I'm gonna go
Make a
full-
survey roll.
Okay. No.
Because he's mixed into the crowd.
I am pointing, by the way. I will say that,
push myself.
but
Okay.
I'm not sure if
I don't know that.
that'll help.
How do you get any space?
3.
You see one of the musicians from the band, and you see him kind of like literally like shoving people out of the way to get himself into the crowd of people to get out the alley.
I'm gonna run at him and try and grab him.
Okay. Time for a skirmish roll, John.
Good.
As soon as I said that, I will be trying to make my way towards the area.
Okay.
in case-
You're going towards the alley too, Philip?
Yes.
I'm probably gonna be doing the same.
Okay.
So if you fail, we still have
4.
backup.
You grab him and you pull him to the ground and kind of pull him back out of the crowd.
I'm gonna take out the knife that I have,
Yeah.
hold it to his neck, and say, "Where's the cellist?"
Make a command roll.
Yes.
Where's the cello man?
Where's the
the cello man?
6?
Jesus.
He says, I'm the cellist.
I'm gonna grab him and pull him back over to the.
He's like, don't kill me. I didn't have any choice.
Bring it back over with you guys, so you can all interrogate him.
Why did you set that bomb off? What was your reasoning? People could have died.
He says, we got to get out of here
Why?
because people are going to die. And
Are
he
there
looks back
bombs?
over his shoulder into the alley.
Is there a remote detonator?
He said, not bombs.
Poison?
Snipers.
Oh.
Snipers on the street.
The street.
Outside the alleyway, on the other side.
We don't hear shots, do we?
Not yet.
Nope.
So they're probably waiting for us to run out.
That or they're waiting for the Emperor, the Emperor's son.
I think he's
already
like
out 'cause the
long
first
gone. He's like the first person to leave.
Yeah.
Or they're waiting for the...
He most likely skedaddled already.
Okay.
He says, listen, just let me go and get out of here yourselves.
We're keeping you in custody and you're coming with us.
He says, that's a bad idea.
Why? Who do you work
There've been a
for?
lot of those tonight,
He
haven't
says, I work for the Empire. He says, you'd be really smart to get out of here.
there? Smart, something we're not.
Fine. I'm gonna look at you two. Do I get the approval to let him go?
Yeah, do it.
Sure.
Want to fuck with
Okay.
the Empire?
I will let him go with a slight nod, and I'm gonna run over to Ulf's tent, see what's up with him.
You see them waiting outside of Wolf's tent, and just as you get over there, the two Skovlan veterans have torn open a part of the wall, and you see a hole going into the warehouse, and they're like, and they gesture, and in Skovlan they give some command. You see Demon pick up Ulf and go into this warehouse.
I want to yell at the demon, be careful, there's snipers outside the alleyway.
I can outrun their bullets.
That's probably not a good idea, especially with Ulf, please.
After Demon goes through with Ulf and the coach goes through, the two Skovlan veterans go through, and they are running through this dark warehouse to get away from this
Do
area.
they give any directions? Of
In Skovlan, they're just like, keep going, keep going.
Can I ask them in Skovlan, is there a safe house?
We must get out of this warehouse. Go, keep going, and then we will turn and go to canal.
Okay. And now I'll just stay with them.
Okay. We need to find him.
You, and you are still in the courtyard.
Let's
Are
just
you going
follow-
to try to get out the alley with the rest of the people, or are you going to try to get out the warehouse hole?
Let's follow the.
Hold on. We need to find our. We saw a demon, and we know where us three are because we're here. Where's our buddy? Where's the last one that was on the roof?
Where's Flint?
Smash
Where's
cut
Flint?
back to you
yeah,
bleeding. You get down the other side of the warehouse.
Okay.
You're in an alley, not the same alley.
Thank God.
It's dark. You've got a awesome rifle with a scope,
Okay. Oh,
but you're in a lot of pain.
right.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
This alley has two ways, so you don't have to go out to the street where everybody else is pouring out to. You can go another way.
I'm gonna go the other way.
Are you basically trying to get out of this area?
You know what? Sure. Let's go for that.
Okay. I'm going to have you make a prowl roll.
Can you push yourself?
Hey, I'm pushing myself. I got plenty. That's a 2.
Okay. You do your best to try to get back out of Night Market and to Coleridge to try to get back somewhere where you have contacts and the ability to get patched up, because you're pretty injured.
Right.
But you make your way out. You, and you. You're following the Skovlans through the warehouse?
Yeah.
Okay. Once they get to the end of the warehouse, they go out towards the dock side. And they look around, and you see like they literally just grab like one of the canal rafts, and they like motion for you guys to get in. And then they start going away. You three come out a short while afterwards, like a minute afterwards, and you see the Skovlans are like paddling this canal boat and like going away down the canal. You see another canal boat tied up.
I think
We take that boat and follow.
No.
Okay.
I was saying we should just go away from this area. We can meet with Demon later.
How? You're by the canal. You gonna swim in the canal?
No. Is there anywhere else we can go from here, or is it just?
You
the canal?
can run down the docks until you get to another dock that intersects a street.
What do you think? Should we take canal or run?
I think
Probably run just to get some distance, and then we could take a boat.
There's only one boat we can see here, and that's this one. We don't know if there's any down the line.
Well, still, we'd be getting away
Demons
from
with
here
the
a lot faster.
Skovlans, they're already going down the canal.
They're probably fine.
Okay, let's just run.
Yeah, we probably running
Okay.
just to get down there as fast as we can.
Who has the best prowl roll?
2,
John.
Go ahead.
4.
Okay. You successfully lead everybody through this kind of maze of alleys and docks until you get to a bridge where you can cross over into Coleridge and eventually get yourselves back to Gary's Deli. Who has contacts with a Physiker? Does your crew have a contact with a Physiker?
Sawtooth.
He is.
Okay. So here's what happens. You actually go with the Skovlans to a safe house. They get Ulf into the safe house safely. The one of the two Skovlans who actually talked to you tells you that you've done well. He says, "Do not speak of what happened tonight to anyone."
About what?
Yes. Lay low, you and your crew. We are not sure what happened tonight exactly, but we think that there is reasons to believe much more was planned than what happened.
Of course. Those Akorosi conniving as always.
I do not know if it was just Akorosi. The Arumians may have had something to do with this, but we shall see. Keep quiet of this safe house. Don't speak.
I want to tell my crew.
Go. You leave. You get back to Gary's. You are in a world of pain. But before we get into healing and de-stressing and downtime, which we're going to deal with later because this has been a very long game, I will summarize. Using networks of people, you will be able to heal. You guys will be able to indulge in your vices. But to conclude the heist, someone has to go back and meet up with Joseph to collect payment, correct?
I feel like, who's the least hurt here? You?
I haven't been hurt once.
I can do it because.
Okay, so
know.
Kobb and Demon, as planned, the night after the event, Kobb and Demon, you return to Rosie's tattoos, and you go to the back room.
Did we all tell each other like all the information that we all gathered throughout the night together?
I feel like if we
Yes.
have a chance
Let's
to
say, converse.
Okay, so you go, Joseph is sitting at the table. The two men with the long black coats aren't there, but the redheaded woman is. Joseph says, well, he's like, I wasn't sure if you'd show up. He's like, but you're lucky. He said, whatever went down after the fight concluded. So all bets were finalized, which is fortunate for everyone. For you, because now you get paid. And he reaches out and pulls out a large wooden box, and he opens it up, and there's just coins in this box, a crazy amount of coins. And he says, this should cover you and all your people. He says, and we did pretty well from a financial and gambling perspective, didn't we, Renee? And he looks back, and the woman says, yeah, I guess we did okay.
Should we tell him about the Empire? And
I will. You're not there. Shh.
I know.
Joseph says, so it's unfortunate whatever was going down afterwards, but the fight did happen. Everybody got paid. Bets were collected, and payouts were made, and we came out ahead, which is all that really matters. So he's like, we may have use for your guys' services in the future. I'll keep you in mind.
We feel as though you should know. The men who caused the trouble were Imperial.
Yeah. He looks at Renee and he says, we've heard a couple interesting things. Heard something about Imperials. Heard something about some Skovlan rebels. Heard loyalists, rather. Heard something about an Arumian deal, a side bet that was made. But at the end of the day, the event happened, and everybody got paid. So, and no one died, which is really quite remarkable. Renee told me that there was like an explosion and everything. It sounds like a lot of people could have died, but no one died. So,
The
so you
damn
guys got
cellos
paid.
with the bomb.
Cobb, what
Damn
about,
cellos.
what about the son? Should we inform him?
That is true. We believe the Emperor's son was there.
Yes. Yeah. Renee, did you spot him? And she says, yeah, I spotted him when he first came in. And he says, you know, that could have accounted for a lot of things. The Emperor has a lot of children. I don't know if you knew that. Like
Bastards.
dozens of children. But that particular younger son has a penchant for risks. The boy likes to gamble. The boy likes to go to places that are outside of his safe zone. He gets a thrill out of it. So it's not uncommon, but, well, it's uncommon, but not impossible. But, you know, good eye that you and your crew were able to spot that. And hopefully this last night won't have any major negative impacts on our future events that we're holding. But we'll keep you guys in mind. He goes, thanks for your services.
Anytime.
And as you're walking in Skovlan, Renee speaks. She says, did you try any of the beers?
Unfortunately not. Was
She
far too
says, it's
busy.
good, because if you had drank them, you'd be dead. And then she follows you guys out and closes the door after you walk out. And that is where we're going to end this episode of the Blackstones.
Hey.
We will do our downtime adjudication off camera because that might not be all that interesting. But all of our bookkeeping will be done later. So hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out. Bye.